Story 1. Some random stuff that works for me. Wake up and go to sleep at the same time every day, including weekends, e.g., 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Write down everything that is in your head before you go to bed. Plan your next day or set goals for tomorrow before going to bed. No internet, television, or phone 1 to 2 hours before sleep. Join a martial arts gym, preferably boxing, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, mixed martial arts, kickboxing, or Muay Thai. Black out your whole bedroom. Also tape over LEDs and do not have a television in the bedroom. Magnesium and cherry juice can help you fall asleep. Also, get your stuff done. If you procrastinate on important tasks, you will think about them all the time in bed. Story 2. I don't easily sleep, but over the years I have discovered several methods that work. It's all about emptying your head. The first was to essentially talk to myself in my head and say, breathe in, breathe out, along with my breathing. That essentially puts breathing on manual mode and empties your head from all thoughts as you repeat those words. It's essentially more or less the same as counting sheep, but easier because when counting, a lot of the time the focus on keeping the numbers going is keeping you awake, whereas repeating those thoughts is completely brain dead. Another method is to just count up, where usually you'll fall asleep before the 2-minute mark, but it does have the downside I mentioned earlier. Last, but certainly not least, my favorite method is to listen to stories. It's more pleasant than counting or just repeating the same thing over and over, and you might even learn something along the way. My favorite channel for that is The French Whisperer, but there are many channels in the same vein for all tastes. It's super effective, my girlfriend luckily doesn't mind, and I learn new things every week. Story 3. I have YouTube Premium. I choose some long videos on my phone that are audio-only friendly. Recently, I chose 4 hours of space facts, turned off the screen, and fell asleep. Story 4.1. Try using a yellow or orange lamp. Set the timer so it can turn off when you are asleep. Changing the environment can help too. Try sleeping on a couch. Story 5. My father can fall asleep super quickly literally anywhere. I have seen that man fall asleep in a room full of people talking and screaming, that too while being in the most uncomfortable position ever. Whenever I ask his secret, he just says, "I am super tired of you all," laughing out loud. I fall asleep pretty quickly too most of the time. It doesn't matter if I am tired or not. My secret is listening to historical stuff. Story 6. I've always slept really well, and never really knew why until I did the 23andMe health testing. I have a relatively rare gene mutation that causes me to be an especially deep sleeper. So, I'm pretty sure a lot of who we are is more genetic than we want to admit. Story 7. I have a surround sound speaker in my room. I put on a rain ambience with the air conditioning on cold at full blast with a comfy blanket. It cost me a lot of money, but goddamn, it was worth it. Story 8. I have programmed my brain to think, I easily fall asleep and sleep through the night. I know other people that state, I can't sleep, I have insomnia, etc. When I lay down at night, I say, I am grateful for this day, and close my eyes. Story 9. 2 tricks I've learned. First, pretend you're only taking a nap. If you've had insomnia for a while, it can be daunting and stressful to try to lie down to get 8 hours of sleep. So I would lie down with the plan to only take a nap, then get up and do some quiet, low-key task like folding laundry. Usually, I would fall asleep and stay asleep, but if not, I'd do the one thing and then lie back down again, same plan, different things to do each time. Second, if the napping doesn't work, concentrate on your breathing and don't think about anything else. Deep breath in for 3 seconds, hold 3 seconds, breathe out 3 seconds, wait 3 seconds. Repeat and don't stress. I would have the mindset that I'm resting my body, and if my brain followed, great. If not, the rhythmic breathing was to release body stress. Story 10.1. Stay active throughout the day, both mentally and physically. By the time I hit my pillow, I have 0 energy left. If I feel restless, I take a walk. Get off your phone. Read a book after dinner instead. It will relax your eyes. A very hot bath or shower. Take your time and allow your muscles to relax. No caffeine after 1 p.m. Story 11. Put on something quiet and boring on the TV and get comfortable. Your eyes will snap shut in a few minutes. Nothing against period pieces, I like a lot of them, but Pride and Prejudice and Downton Abbey seem to do the trick really well for me. There's a lot of talking and no action or loud noises. Story 12. Dozing off while listening to the soundtrack of a documentary you have seen 10 times. Counting sheep is similar to this, but with educational advantages. Story 13. I suffered from insomnia for most of my 20s and 30s. I still struggle to sleep sometimes, but now I can fall asleep within an hour of going to bed by going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time every day. Having this routine is the only thing that has helped my sleep, and it has been working for the last 7 years. Story 14. Physical activity. Sometimes on weekends, when I haven't been very active, I don't go to sleep right away. During the work week, I lay my head down and it's lights out. I will sleep through anything. Story 15. I once ate melatonin gummies for a month before sleep, and after that never had problems sleeping at any time. It may not work for everyone. I was never a sensitive sleeper, but it helped my brain somehow. Story 16. I had a job that required me to work at odd times when I was in college. I sometimes worked for 20 hours straight for a couple of weeks. Ever since then, I fall asleep whenever I close my eyes, and I'm even remotely comfortable. I don't care if it's a chair, a couch, a bed, or even a steel bench at a bus stop. That's where I developed the habit of sleeping whenever there was a bit of time to do so. I never unlearned it. Story 17. A combination of physical activity, no television or phone before bed, a regular sleep schedule, and using your bed just for sleeping is recommended. Don't lie in bed all day and do daily activities from bed. Get up and out of bed as soon as you wake up. Go to bed and only use the bed for sleeping at night. Story 18. I don't sleep easily, but here's what I have noticed. When I read any book that is non-fictional and boring, it makes me sleep early. If I go with some thriller series, movies, or books, I cannot sleep. Story 19. I go to bed, start a history, gaming, or astrophysics video, put the phone aside, and get into a comfortable position. Then I close my eyes and force myself to actively listen to the video. I block real-life thoughts and drift away. Works every day. Story 20. Just shut your eyes and try to just stare at the black color by stopping all the thoughts by force. Keep doing it until eventually you just fall asleep. Story 21. I picture myself someplace else, like a little boat with a little sleeping cabin floating down a river in the rainforest or something. Sometimes a little spaceship floating across the stars. Sounds stupid, but I guess it drowns out all the other stuff that would be on my mind instead. Story 22. Clean sheets, bath, bed to myself. YouTube has some good sleeping sounds, no electronics, no caffeine after a certain time. Also alcohol, Ambien, eating a lot, and not having to work the next day. Story 23. Dealt with the trauma. Confronted it. Was told, what am I supposed to do about that? I didn't get the answers I wanted. I didn't get reconciliation with what happened. I gained acceptance. I sleep like a baby. Get the pillow and I'm sleeping peacefully. Story 24. Used to have terrible insomnia. Became a behaviorist. Trained myself to fall asleep. It was amazing. Still going strong. It has been 6 years with no problems. Story 25. Keeping the same wake and sleep routine. Up at 5 a.m. daily. Asleep by 9 or 10 p.m. Exercise, daily walks. Stop eating by 8:30 or 9 p.m. No phone use at night. Playing brown noise helps me sleep if my head is filled with thoughts. Journaling or reading will always put me to sleep at night too. Story 26. I don't stress or overthink things. Mental peace. I go to sleep when I'm tired, which can lead to a lack of sleep sometimes. No coffee past 4 p.m. Apparently, that really kills it for me. Story 27. I bought a great bed earlier this year, and it's like laying on a cloud. I am usually pretty mentally exhausted at the end of the day. I lay down, get under the covers, turn on a book I have read or listened to in the past, and go right to sleep. If I am not feeling a new book, I turn on some old Art Bell, and that does the trick for me. I am usually out in 5 to 10 minutes. Story 28. Got to condition your environment for sleep. Light, temperature, comfort, and calmness. Then work on conditioning your body. Try to enforce a sleep schedule. Reduce exposure to blue light in the evening and get sunlight in your eyes, especially during sunrise and sunset. Try somatic exercises and deep breathing. Inhales stimulate and exhales calm, so try different variations to see what works, but generally exhale for longer than you inhale. Try cognitive reshuffling if your mind races when you hit the pillow. Story 29. Have a job where you actually have to leave the house, move around, and do more than sit at a computer all day. You will actually be tired when you come home. Story 30. You need a sleep routine. It literally trains your brain that it is time to go to sleep. Mine is wash face, brush teeth, skincare, prepare hair for bed, sleepy tie, bonnet, get in bed, read Reddit for a few minutes, television on to listen to friends as I drift off, sleeping mask on. I am out like a light in 2 minutes. Story 31. Being a genuine person, having good intentions, a good heart, knowing that I am not doing wrong by anyone, and trying to give my best to everything I do and every relationship I have. Story 32. I wonder if it is those people with no internal monologue. Like, they literally do not have a thought in their heads, so the body is free to shut down when it is tired. Story 33. Put something on the television. I've been looking forward to watching all day. Lie down. Push play. Sleep like a baby. Takes me months or years to binge a series. Story 34. Stop trying so hard. I think the pressure people put on themselves to go to sleep just keeps them up. I just close my eyes and let nature do its thing. I usually fall asleep in a minute or two, but if not, I figure it's no big deal. I'll just wander around my thoughts until I do. Story 35. Get used to not using the phone in bed. Get used to going to sleep once the lights are out so your body knows dark means sleep. Get used to sleeping at a regular time every night. Story 36. I let my head touch the pillow. Usually, I'm out in about 10 to 30 seconds. The missus hates me for it. But yes, it's due to daily mental and physical exhaustion. Story 37. I get up super early specifically, so I'm tired enough to fall asleep around 9:30 to 10 p.m. If I sleep past 4 a.m., I toss and turn for hours. That just seems like the times that work best for my body for some reason. I also drink no caffeine past 4:30 p.m. Story 38. I put on an episode of one of my favorite crime shows on my phone and put the face down, so I'm just listening to them talk. I'm out in 1 minute or less. I think it's because, as a kid, I used to fall asleep with the old radio shows on, so my brain finds it comfortable. Story 39. I conditioned my mind about 20 years ago to fall asleep to the same shows, and now when I put them on, I am usually out pretty fast. As a bonus, when I wake up overnight, I can put one on and fall back asleep. It is familiar enough that I do not need to physically watch it, but it can focus my brain off the zillion things trying to keep me awake. Story 40. Used to work 32 hours in 2 days with little to no sleep, being on call. I literally fell asleep one day in a chair, and it was the best sleep I've ever had in 33 years of life. I didn't even need a pillow. Story 41. I have a weed pen and a bottle of Josh wine in the fridge. I put on Desperate Housewives. If my apartment fixed the water in the shower and bath, then I would take a hot bath or shower. Story 42. I put a heavy pillow on my head. I start a conversation in my head with a random acquaintance about little more than nothing. Eventually, the conversation takes care of itself, and I'm an observer. Done. Counting works too. Or, I put on the most tediously interesting subject matter. I just get annoyed and pass out. Story 43. I like a dark room and background noise when I sleep, so I usually put on a long YouTube video at very low volume. But rather than watching the video, I keep my eyes closed and listen. I usually don't make it to the end of the video. Story 44. Step 1. Get mental health under control. Step 2. Eliminate caffeine. It is a circadian rhythm disruptor. Step 3. Be consistent. It is especially important to not sleep in. Bonus. Keep electronics out of the bedroom. Story 45. Magnesium and teaching middle school. Between taking around 10,000 steps a day and answering 18,000 questions, Both my body and mind are spent, and I'm asleep within a minute of closing my eyes. Story 46. Rain sounds, hot tea, breathe deeply. If I am having trouble, it is because I didn't do enough to get my energy out during the day. Walking, running, and working out really help. Story 47. Iron. And I'm being serious. After I discovered I had severe anemia and started taking iron pills, I started sleeping a lot better. Before, it took me 30 to 60 minutes to get to sleep, now about 5 to 15 minutes. Story 48. Having a routine. I brush my teeth, put on my pajamas, lay in bed, and read until I fall asleep. It usually works great, but I might read too long sometimes if the book gets interesting. Story 49. I daydream as I fall asleep. I think about being a hero, keep a fan on, and limit screen time before bed. These work for me, but I could also fall asleep after drinking 2 coffees and an Adderall. Just easier for me, I guess, sorry. My wife is the opposite. She is an insomniac and always has trouble falling asleep. Some nights she hates me for it. The only negative is once I fall asleep, I am a different person if I get woken up or asked to move. I am super nice and polite during waking hours, but at night I am a restless sleeper. I push an elbow, and if I get woken up, I am on autopilot or get sleep paralysis nightmares, and my wife has to save me. Story 50. No secret, just very lucky. Once I'm in bed, I can be asleep within 10 minutes. My husband is the complete opposite and struggles massively to get to sleep. Story 51. Good sleep hygiene, going to bed and waking up at the same time every night, not being in your room except for when it's time to sleep, not touching your phone in bed, avoiding screens for the time leading up to going to bed, keeping your home cool, not eating close to bedtime, exercising every day, and not taking naps later in the day. Story 52. Try to keep a consistent time each night that you get in bed. Keep any screen time, such as phone or television, to a minimum an hour before bed. Don't eat 3 hours before bed. Exercise. Try adding some magnesium glycinate before getting into bed.